Hello, hello, it's me, Dan, with another video for you guys while I gallivant around Italy. Today, this video should be going up on a Tuesday, Tuesday the 7th, in fact, Tuesday the 7th of March. I'm still in Bologna in real time, but Tuesdays are narrative Tuesdays. That's usually when we play our story-based games, so I decided to play. Today I'll be playing Where the Water Tastes Like Wine for You, which is I got this game recently, physical copy from, oh shoot, from where? Not Limited Run, the other one. No, it was Limited Run, sorry, take it back. It was Limited Run Games. I recently, it finally came, a long time coming. And yeah, it looks pretty fun. Apparently Sting is in this game, Sting, the musician Sting. So, you know, that'll be interesting. So this game is about this game takes place in the United States during the Depression era United States. So let's just quickly go to some credits. So I'm really enjoying this. Ooh, that sound is quite loud in my ears. I'm not sure if it'll be very loud. I mean, that's fine. Controls, whistle, hitchhike. Not a lot of controls. Can't interact, inventory. All right. Well, I mean, we'll figure all this out as we go, all right? So begin anew. This is my first time to begin for the first time. It is a bit loud, so let me turn that a little bit down. Not quite animated. Yeah, the story in this game is supposed to be very, very good. So I'm excited to check it out.
Night has fallen and you're weary from travel. Stars fill the sky above, and in front of you is a brightly lit wooden house, the only building you've seen for days.
Interesting. It's almost like a text adventure.
You walk toward the house, hearing the sounds of laughter and talk as you reach the door and push it open.
I wonder if I'll have options later. Oh, what was that?
You sit down and join the game. It's a cheap buy-in, and not many of the other players are very good. The lady fiddling with dice gets good cards, but has no real strategy. The man to your right seems to just hold on to the highest cards he has, regardless of suit or any consideration of matches.
I really like this guy's voice. It's very good. Who else is
The
here?
man in gray across from you, though, he's good. He already had the largest pile of coins when you bought in, and while your winnings grow quickly, you can't quite catch him.
Keep playing.
One by one, the other players leave the table, sometimes with pique or with wry humor, leaving their winnings with you or the man in gray.
Keep playing. Why is there a feather? Harmonica. Ooh, a key. Well, that's a royal flush, that is.
Finally, it's just you and the man in gray. He looks at you, full of humor, and winks. Last hand?
I'm in.
He deals, you draw, and look at your hand. It's good. It's great. The best hand, in fact. A royal straight flush. Spades. Aces high.
Nothing can beat me.
But the man in gray pushes forward his whole pile. You're not sure exactly how much it is, but it's more than you've got. You can't match that.
Oh, that sucks. Fold.
The man in gray stops you. Now, if you like, I'll let you wager your word. I know you'll be good for it. Just promise you'll pay the debt, however I ask.
Check cards or you have my word. So I do get to choose. So this is my first choice. Let me check my cards.
10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. All spades.
He's going to beat me somehow. You have my word.
The man in gray smiles. All right, then. I'll call.
Show him. Oh, okay. Wait, that's my hand. What the? Ah! It's a wolf. So yes, there's obviously going to be some
Well, your luck
magical
wasn't so
realism here.
good, was it? That's quite the hand, but not for the game we're playing. I'm afraid you owe me. Your life, sure. But more than that, your labor.
Yo, this music is also very good.
You see, this land is built on stories. It's one big story, this country, woven of many small ones. Few of the small ones are strictly true, and the big story is mostly a lie.
He's talking about the United States, and I guess any national story, right?
All the stories and songs and myths and legends start somewhere, with a seed. As they're told and retold and passed around, they grow and change to become the stories we know. To pay your debt to me, you'll be carrying stories, finding the seeds first and then spreading them, telling them onwards so they can begin gaining strength. This is no light task. Stories are heavy.
Stories are heavy. Okay, we're literally like 5 minutes in, and this might already be my favorite game of last year. When did this game come out? I think
Most
it was
of the
last year.
stories you'll find will be small seeds. They might be true, but they'll grow wild and unbelievable with the telling. The more important stories are the true ones, the ones people will tell you about their own lives. Those often get lost in the weaves of the big story. The more true stories you can find and tell, the more you can weave that truth into the big story. Tarnish it a bit perhaps, but isn't a dingy and battered truth better than a shining lie? Now, go ahead. You tell me a story. I'll trade you some information about your task.
I feel like I got cheated. I don't know that I'd be doing this for you. Sorry, this wasn't last year. This was 2018 on PC, February 2018. And then I think in 2020 is when it came out on... 2019 is when it came out on console. November 2019. So I'm actually very many years behind on this. Oh. Death, change, endings, moving on. Wait, what does that mean? Fortune, fate, luck. Heaven, desires, fulfilled wishes come true. Oh, these are tarot. Oh yeah, I just realized. The world, wheel of fortune, the tower. Choice, morality, travel. I guess I'll tell you that one. Tell the story of the northbound train blinking its giant eyes as it crawls through the night. Oh, I can shoot. Okay, hold on. Tell the story of the endless series of doors of different kinds, each leading only to more doors. Tell the story of the parting of a cloud of fog to reveal a brief glimpse of the land of promise and plenty. Tell the story of tossing a pair of bone dice on a blood-red velvet table. They come up snake eyes and wink at you. Tell the story of a black and gray city where every building is filled with desiccated corpses. Damn. You know what? Let's do this one. The dice, the bone dice on the blood-red velvet table.
It's just luck. Funny how bad luck seems to follow the folks who already have problems aplenty.
Oh, I didn't get to actually hear the story.
Well, try your luck out there in this country. See how the dice treat you. It's not all bad. You'll have to work hard, but but I'll give you the gift for seeing the true shapes of people. Not many who can do that.
I tell all the stories, do I? Okay. Alright.
I'll strip away your flesh to make the journey easier, but still you'll feel pain. Hunger, weariness, thirst, and despair. They're all part of stories, a part not often told. And death, yes, but don't worry. As long as your task remains, you come back.
Alright, so I can't die. Alright. I guess I have to tell them all the stories, huh? This is the...
Your
Land of
deepest
Promise.
desires, your greatest wish, heaven? Big Rock Candy Mountain? El Dorado, the Promised Land, that place just over the ridge where they all say that the water tastes just like the sweetest wine.
He said the name of the game, sort of.
Well, I don't know where that is. It's supposed to be somewhere in this country. Ask the people you meet. They're all searching for the same thing.
The endless doors.
You sometimes have to make choices about what kind of story you're finding. Is it a love story or a tragedy? Don't gather too many of one kind, though. This grand story needs variety.
And finally, the story of the northbound train blinking its giant eye as it crawls through the night.
Travel? That's your job. Wander from place to place, gather those stories and spread them. People get bored hearing the same stories over and over. But an old cliche in one state might be a rip-roaring new yarn in another. Go on your way, seeker. Maybe we'll meet again, or maybe not. Either way, it'll be an experience for you. I'm jealous in some ways. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Okay. Oh, I am Bones. Look at me. That's kind of cool. There's, oh, that's Canada up there. Interesting. So I'm quite far north. I don't know where I am exactly in the United States. I'm probably in the east. Wait. I'm probably in Maine then.
This bungalow is being ransacked. There's furniture piled in the front yard, ammunition heaped under the mailbox, and a crowd of clean-cut men ripping apart a car in the driveway.
Strange.
The two heavily armed, mud-caked women leaning over the porch railing share the same bored grin. One shouts at you. Lend a couple innocent gals a cigarette?
Sure.
You are about to hand her a smoke when those men draw pistols and shove you hard into the dirt. You know these girls? They demand.
No.
Once they've dumped your bag out into the road, they decide you're harmless. If you were selling booze too, you'd have a lot more cash, sneers one. On the porch behind him, the two bootleggers are fingering their empty rifles, grinning in disappointment.
Move on. New story, the women arrested for bootlegging.
Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by and
okay.
by I'll see
Your goal is to fulfill blah blah by finding all 16 characters scattered over the U.S. and trade stories with them until you earn their trust and finish their story. Okay. You collect stories, unique characters will ask you for different types of stories: tragic, hopeful, scary, thrilling, or funny. Remember what sort of adventure you had, and you'll know what type of story you got. Stories will grow and change as you tell them. Once you tell a story to a character, it will be out in the world, and you may encounter someone else who will tell you a better version of it. These better versions will be more entertaining when you tell them to characters, but be sure to tell different stories so that you have a chance to grow them all. The stories you get from characters are wild cards. They will fit they will fit any of the 5 categories. However, telling them will not cause them to grow, so use them sparingly as you're giving up a chance to spread other stories. What? Oh, me telling their stories. Oh, but that doesn't make sense. You begin to collect stories. When you meet characters, they'll ask you for different types of stories. Yes. Stories will grow and change as you tell them. Once you tell a story to a character, it will be out in the world, and you may encounter someone else who will tell you a better version of it. Blah, blah, blah. The stories you get from characters are wild cards. However, if you want to swap around the stories you tell, you can do that in the inventory. Okay. There are several ways to travel across the U.S. The easiest is walking, but it's slow. You can speed up your walking pace by whistling. Hold down the button and match the notes to keep your spirits and speed up. Ah, okay. You can also hop a ride on a boxcar. This will get you exactly where you need to go, but runs the risk of getting injured by the railroad cops. To hop a ride, find a train yard. A safer way to travel is hitchhiking. To hitchhike, hold the hitchhike button while standing next to a road with cars on it. Not every car will stop, and they won't always carry you to the full distance, but you will be safe. Finally, if you've got some cash, you can go to a city and ride the fast, safe passenger trains from place to place. It costs money, but it is the best way to travel. Each time you meet a character, you'll have a night to talk with them and exchange stories. If you tell them the kind of stories they want, you'll gain their trust and move forward through their tale. However, there's no penalty to telling them a different story. You will still learn whatever they have to tell you. Characters have multiple chapters, and when you fully open the eye in the interface, the next time you meet them, you'll move on to their next chapter. When you finish all the chapters, you won't see them again. Each time you finish a night with a character, they will move somewhere else. You can always check the map to see where they are, but they will always show you when they move. But they will also show you when they move, excuse me. The inventory holds the mementos you've collected from the characters you've met. Once a character trusts you fully, they'll give you something to remember them by, which can be used to travel to where you first met. The inventory screen also has tabs so you can see your stories, a timeline of your adventures, a map of the US, and your progress with each of the characters. Okay. So how do I whistle again? Not sure if I'm whistling properly. Hold on, how do I... No, that's not what I want to do. How do I... Get back to the controls real fast. L1 is whistle, sure. Okay.
Off the road and into the woods, you can't help but come across this package by the old tree tied to a sturdy stick. The cloth wrapping conceals, though not particularly well, something large and softly unsettled. Little eyes blink back at you from inside the bundle.
I mean, I'm supposed to collect stories, right? So say hello.
She gives a start.
Please don't tell my pa that I'm in here.
It says in a small voice.
Why not?
Pa doesn't want to live with us anymore, but I want to go with him. Don't tell him, please. I'm hiding.
I won't tell.
You tell the boy you'll keep his secret. You don't see his father anywhere. You don't see another soul for miles.
Dang. Alright, well, that is a new story. Portland, Maine. Yeah, Maine. Okay, there he goes, New Hampshire. I was right. Oh, there's a couple of things over down there. Not sure how to whistle properly because you kind of have to hold it down.
They don't come every year, you know. The old man is sitting at the edge of a rotting old pier, crooked legs dangling over the water. He watches a pair of seagulls preen and groom each other on a rock just off the shore.
Ask why.
That's when the fishing is going to be good. He taps great, black, thick globs of spent tobacco out of a huge ceramic pipe. I got another year, I guess.
One more year of what?
Another year of this town being here, he replies, letting a grin spread across his face. If the seagulls came, that means enough fish to keep it in place.
Okay.
The woman walks the small town square with the poise of Betty Davis.
Ooh, Betty Davis.
Confident stride and inimitable mannerisms elevating the sidewalk into a plush Hollywood carpet. Wrapped around her neck, a yellow velvet ribbon, bright as an ocean sunrise.
Ask
You
around.
question a well-dressed man parked outside an oyster house. Prudish woman. I took her on a fine date and she didn't remove so much as a ribbon. Excuse me, can you step back from the coupe? That's the spirit. You decide to seek a second opinion. You talk with a waitress smoking outside a diner. Something funny about her. Just showed up one day. Doesn't work, doesn't live anywhere as far as I know. Just around. Myself, I'd love to know who made all her beautiful clothes.
So I can approach the woman now, or I can ask around some
The
more.
longshoreman watches
Oop,
stevedores load up a crane.
Oh,
Yellow
shit.
ribbon? That woman's dead. Ghost dead. Buddies
Damn.
of mine, they've seen her all over the Atlantic for decades now.
Oh, man, I have to move on. Okay. Interesting. Can hitchhike. Let's go to the lighthouse first.
You can see storm clouds on the horizon, and you don't relish the thought of being caught wandering this rocky seaside road in the rain. Fortunately, you find the lighthouse door open, with a daunting staircase before you.
Climb up.
At the top of an ornate wrought iron spiral, you're breathless and feeling the strain on your knees. Rain already batters the walls outside. You can only knock on a heavy wooden door leading into the upper level.
This music is amazing.
Muffled voices and light seep in beneath the door.
Put your ear to the door.
Looks like we got a visitor. Sounds like a man's voice, deep and rough. Well, behave yourself. I'll open the door. Another man, this one with a higher, more sonorous voice. I always behave myself. He feigns indignation, but his tone betrays affection instead.
Wait.
After a moment, the door unlatches from the inside and opens. The man before you is tall and muscular, with a hint of a paunch beneath his wide chest. The heavy iron knob on the door looks nearly dainty in his huge hand. Didn't want to be out in this rain, did you? Come in.
Step inside.
Despite the rough exterior, this room looks like a well-appointed parlor. There's a rug on the well-trod wooden floor, and an enormously plush couch. And sat upon it is a stocky fellow grinning through a great hazel-colored beard. Tea? He offers, hoisting a teapot.
Oh, been here long? I'm not sure what those things mean down there. So like the image changes depending on which one I pick, right? So they've been the heart this whole time. And then this one's like a grinning sun. Been here long? Or must be lonely up here. Must be lonely up here, I guess.
Oh, we manage. The tall one sits on the sofa, casually wrapping an arm around the other lighthouse keeper. The quiet suits us just fine. He needs his quiet time. He's a writer. The tall one grunts. I dabble. But you must have some good stories from the road.
Well, I have some.
You wake up the next morning on their old sofa, still warm from an excess of tea. And cakes? There might have been little cakes. Prodigious snoring rumbles in from the floor above you, and you quietly take your leave.
Move on. Oh, that's nice. Alright, so I can now hitchhike, right? Oh no, wait, that's inventory. How do I... Ah, so this is... Okay, I see. So tell me what kind of stories they are. Sort of. Oh, I see. I could have turned it into the sun. Okay, interesting. So I need to go down, I guess. Yeah, I think I want to go down. Ooh, I can get to New York City. Alright, that's not... Okay, I didn't want that. How do I... Oh, there it is. There it is. That was it. R2. That's it. Oh, come back, come back. Where are you going? Ride the car. Where are you going? Oh, I shouldn't have been walking. Why does he keep going? I'm very confused. Huh, I'm not pressing anything and he's still walking. Alright. Guess I'm not hitchhiking. Ooh, Boston. Boston's a big city.
A dusty truck and a man on horseback pull up next to one another in front of the grocer. Suddenly, the driver and the rider, two wiry old men with identical haircuts, start shrieking at one another. The man with the truck
What's going on?
leaps into the street. "Brother!" he shouts. The one on the horse tumbles out of his saddle. "Brother!" he screams. They embrace in the road. 30 years, hollers the driver. The rider, tears streaming down over his face, corrects him. "No, 32!
Oh, wow.
Everyone here is watching these two older men cry and hug one another in the middle of Main Street. Cars and wagons are backing up. People are yelling. "Take a photo of us," the driver begs you. Starts hauling a tripod out of the bed of his truck.
So I can either say, let's get out of the road first, or say cheese. Let's get out of the road first.
As you usher them onto the sidewalk, the driver says, "Joe, I thought you were dead." The rider freezes. "Joe?" he blurts. "I'm not Joe." The two
No.
men stare at one another, each slowly recognizing something alien in their mistaken brother's face.
Dang. Why can't I stop him walking? I'm very confused. Hold on. Does he just walk on his own? It's the manual, yeah, okay. Alright. Guess. What's this? Oh, it's a camp.
Hey
Oh,
there,
I'm in a boy.
stranger. You're welcome to enjoy this fire with me, if you're respectful, that is. This here is my spot, and I ain't inclined to share it with any bad characters. You can call me Quinn.
Hello, Quinn.
These here are my venturing companions. Cass is the big un, and the one with the spots is Flip.
2 dogs.
I usually beat my way on the rails, but the road news said this town was fat and the weather was fine. So I'm taking in the sights and seeing what I can drum up. Hey, do you got any really thrilling stories to tell? I'm hankering for one of those.
Thrilling. How do I know by subject? Because the boss likes the tarot cards, okay? This is the subject of each story here. If you tell this person a story about love, for example, they will tell you something from their own life relating to the subject of love or things. As the night goes on, this icon will move left to right. When it reaches the right side, the night is over, and so is your storytelling. The person you're talking to will usually tell you where they'll be next so you can find them again. If you tell them the types of stories they request, you'll gain their trust and the eye will open. When it opens fully, the next time you meet them, they'll open up more about their life. They'll remember this from the conversation to conversation, so don't feel you need to open the eye all the way the first time you meet someone. Dance around, get to know them. So he wants thrilling. Authority, past, the future, family, love, nothing, nothing, nothing. Travel. That's kind of thrilling because it's a ghost, right? Yeah. Okay,
Ain't
I
life
see.
got enough tearjerkers in it without telling stories like that? Jeez.
What?
Traveling. I sure do love it. And I seen some pretty things out there. I seen serpent trains passing on a green and gold sea. I seen mountains so tall and forests so thick, nobody will ever tame them.
That's what you think.
I once seen a bunch of townies skinny dipping in a river. That sure was something. I seen terrible things too. Biblical floods and starving folks. And black blizzards full of dust. You got any happy stories?
Happy. Oh, nope, that's not the right. That's not happy. Nope. Yeah, this is happy, technically. I hope.
Sometimes I need a tale like that just to remind me it's not all depressed out there.
Alright, that did
Love
work.
stories. Huh. Folks sure seem to be eat up with the notions of love, singing and talking about it all the damn time. I'm not sure I see the appeal myself. I want a story that scares me. Now I'm older, almost nobody can do it. Give me your best shot.
Scared, huh? I guess this one's the scariest, the one with the boy. Well, not really.
Well, that sure was a downer. Give me a good venture tale instead any day. My family. There ain't no way I'm gonna start jaw flapping about those bastards. Judases, the lot of them. Enough said. Hey,
Fair enough.
tell me one of those exciting stories.
I'll say the bootlegger one, I guess. That's all I got left. Yeah, this one, right? Yeah.
Well, that was a lively tale.
Oh, hey.
Authority, bosses and such. I ain't nobody's little Angelina if that's what you're asking. I take care of myself and my dogs. I don't need no jocker looking out for me, so if you're offering, don't. Shoot, I thought I told you to be respectful. You want to keep enjoying my spot or not? Think about that.
Alright,
I want to hear one of them venturing tales. Got any?
I don't think so. Is the brothers thrilling? Teacher, the son, or the high priestess? How do I tell? This was not that one. I guess this one? The brothers?
That was a chuckle to be sure. But do you know anything more lively? Well, I don't know a whole lot about the past, but they say there's an Injun grave around these parts. Say it's haunted and full up with angry spirits. I used to love hearing stories of cowboys and Injuns fighting it up. Would swap tales with the youngins. But, well, I suppose if someone shot me, I'd be pretty vengeful too. Oh, heck, the night's over already. I sure enjoyed talking to you, but I gotta get on. I think I'll see what's happening up the road this way.
It means he's going to... What's that? Delaware? Maryland?
The tramping life suits me just fine. Every day is a venture. With things being so depressed, folks walk around like it's the end of everything good. But it ain't. Plenty nice things to see if you know where to look.
Hey, I meant one. Okay. I really do wish he'd stop walking on his own.
He leans against a fence and turns to face you as you pass him by. At his back is a bag full of bird seed. He assures you that the gawky birds perching on his body are the last remaining passenger pigeons.
I thought they were extinct.
They look extinct to you?
You're not sure those dull gray pigeons look anything like the pictures you've seen of passenger pigeons, though you can't help thinking they stare at you a little too intently.
Say, you like birds?
So I can change the story. I can change what kind of story this is. So if I say sure, it's a love story. If I say not really, it's a son story, which I forgot already what the fuck it is. I guess a bit of a sad story. I mean, I've got both, but I'll say sure.
They're lovely creatures. Guileless, really.
Hunted damn near to extinction, weren't you? He strokes one of his birds under the chin. You think you see drips of blood flecking the creature's dirty gray head.
Excuse me.
You sense it's about time you start moving on.
You be kind to the little birds now, you hear?
You hurry along the road. The flapping of ungainly wings seems to follow you for hours.
How is that a love story? That seems like a bit of a... Alright. No stories in Rhode Island? Alright. Go to Connecticut then. As you walk down the road, a black crow flutters down to land in your path. It looks at you, cocks its head, and speaks. Well, you've got a long, long road ahead, don't you? All these people to chase down, or so I hear? It laughs. I got some experience when it comes to chasing folks. Tell me about it. Well, if you want, you could go find your friend again. Ask him more about their life. They might want better stories this time, though. He peers up at you. Didn't they tell you where they were headed next? Yeah? But hey, the world is full of people. Bet you could find another friend like that if you went looking around. There's more than one interesting person in this land for sure. He gives a gravelly laugh. That's what humans say anyway. And with that, it launches into the air and disappears. Move on. So I think that was just telling me a little bit about the... Oh.
His clothes are expensive, but unkempt. A tailored jacket stretched and warped out of its best fit by long days on the road. His thinning frame weighs down the boxcar next to yours.
We got a light, friend.
You offer a match, which bends and nearly snaps as he scratches it against the pitted iron edge of the boxcar.
Thanks.
He mumbles, perching one last cigarette on his lip.
So where are you going?
Don't rightly know where I'm going.
You notice how deeply wrinkled his clothes are. It's as though a huge hand plucked him from a high society party and crumpled him up like a sheet of paper.
Don't rightly know how I got going either.
Why?
They built a railway just past Missy Hudson's estate. Damned racket ruined our soiree. Might have been a few bottles of Armagnac too many when I walked down the tracks to tell them to keep it quiet.
He drags on the cigarette, but you never see him exhale.
Move on. What's this? Oh, here's a story. This man reads the newspaper with a barely contained horror, his grimace spreading wider and wider as he makes his way down the page. Suddenly, his frown cracks into something with a little more amazement in it. Whoa, he says. And the front cover says Dust Bowl Devastation. What's the matter? He reads out a story about the 4 identical men, born to 2 different mothers, who confuse themselves amongst each other. You're shocked. It's a story of the 2 men who each mistook the other for his missing brother, but with some bits changed. Do you think this really happened, he asks. Oh, yes. He shrugs. Sounds like nonsense to me, for sure, he says. The stuff they print these days. That's cool. So the story grew in the telling. Very nice. It's New York. What happens if I go into the city? I didn't go into Boston just now. But what happens if I try to go into the city? Oh, I can't enter. Oh shit! I should have entered. Oh, the air stinks of gasoline and trash, and you're boxed in by brick. But damn, there's something invigorating about that stink. God, you feel like there's an engine in your chest. All right, explore.
The engines belch black smoke as the ferry churns gray water into froth. A broad-shouldered figure leans out over the rail, eyeing the skyscrapers on the horizon. Nearby, a man and a woman speak in low, urgent voices. He takes her wrist gently. She is weeping softly.
Alright, so if I talk to the man, it's this travel story. It would be a travel story, I think. If I listen to the couple, it's a romance story, which I have 2 of already. So I think I'm going to talk to the man, even though the other story sounds more interesting.
The man gives you a once-over as you approach. His newsboy cap is ragged with age.
You look familiar. Did I meet you at Union Square?
Don't think so. I'll just say Union
The
Square.
demonstration. It got bloody, but I'm used to that after Italy.
He claps a hand to his hat to steady it from the breeze.
When Gramsci was arrested, many of us had to flee. I came into New York, and here I continue our efforts. The workers' voices will be heard.
Ah, he's a communist. Move on. The determined socialist in New York, yeah. Earn money. You wander the streets of the city looking for a way to make some cash. Look for work or panhandle. Look for work. Miraculously, you're one of the first people in line when this factory's doors open. You join a crowd of people streaming through the machine room toward the back. When the doors to the furthest storage room open, though, the folks in the front ranks recoil. A few even scream. What the hell? You want to get paid, don't you? Shouts the foreman. Get in there. Get in. The folks behind you shove forward, and soon you're pushed inside. Holy shit, this room is full of fucking snakes. Nope. Or stay and work. Alright, stay and work. Grab them, shouts the foreman, passing out nets. They're harmless. The remaining workers get over their fear and start scooping up snakes by the netful. The beasts hiss pathetically. You dump them into a chute in the far wall. This better pay well. It does pay pretty well. During lunch, you rest on the warehouse floor. The snakes pile up in a corner and watch you all with enormous suspicion. It's then that you glance out a window and notice a fading logo on a sign outside. Sylvester Brothers Fine Boots. Or snakes. How's that not a story? So I can take a train. Or, what's at the store? Fresh bagel, slice of pizza, spaghetti plate, blue plate special. I'm gonna get a slice of pizza. How do you come to New York and not get a slice of pizza? Just for fun. Alright, I don't want to... Okay, so we go back. I don't want to go to the train station, so let's just leave. Very cool, very cool.
As you walk along the river near an unfinished bridge, a man with a tool belt catches sight of you. Hey, over there, he calls out. You look like you could use a quick way to get some hard-earned money. Hard-earned is right. The bridge hangs high over a perilous drop.
So I can accept, or I can ask, is it safe? I'll just accept.
Great, he exclaims. Suppose you'll want a safety belt. We Thunderbird people don't need them. We fly when we fall. He chuckles.
Belt up or back away? I'll belt up.
You find yourself up high, looking over the rushing river that crashes around the foundation of the bridge. As you work side by side, the man mentions, you can see Thunderbirds up here if you know how to look.
Thunderbirds are a Native American thing. I'm not sure which people exactly.
You ask him to explain. Practice your peripheral vision, if you dare. Last thing you need up here is for them to see you seeing them and come swooping at you, he says laughingly.
Try.
You only see the clouds thicken. It sure does pass the time working. The man pays you well when you're done with the job.
Move on. I got a story and I got money, I think. Oh, it's a crow again. A jet black crow alights on the low branch of a twisted tree. Look at you, it caws. Think you got some good stories already? Well, I heard better, much better. Heh. He seems to wink at you. Want to hear my tricks? Sure. Ask about stories. If the ones you got now, pathetic stuff. You tell those stories around and they'll come back more exciting, more satisfying. So always listen to the stories other folks tell. Their tales are less true, sure, but more useful around the campfire. Makes sense? The boss has a point about the true ones, though, the crow admits. They're extra interesting. You learn a couple folks' true life stories and everyone will like them, no matter what kind of story they think they want to hear. Any other tips? Well, everyone's the captain of their destiny. It gives a burst of laughter. Ain't no bootstraps in the world that can save you now. But the choices you make, they change the kind of story you can tell. It ruffles its feathers, sort of a shrug. Choose wisely, or don't. Ha! Move on. Alright, let's go back to, back to Boston. Oh, I messed up. Enter Boston. There. Explore.
This city is like
Oh, I
no
forgot to read
other
the thing.
you've been to. Crooked streets splay out in a maze of narrow passages, no two alike. Soon, you find yourself in twilight, utterly lost.
It's Hobbit
Bright light
Square.
crests around one corner, a car approaching.
Okay, I can hail the taxi cab, or I can keep walking. I'll hail the taxi cab.
Compelled by the cold and foreboding night, you don't question it as you drag your bones into the cab. But you realize immediately how strange the vehicle is. It's a sleek thing, like a shallow parabola gliding over the street.
Look at the driver.
Where to? He asks. You have to stop and think. Eventually, you name Boston Common, the only landmark you know in this town. He peels off silently. You feel the car
Look out the window.
He takes you through ever odder streets, flanked by painfully clean, gleaming buildings and signage for businesses you don't recognize. Even the air seems different. It doesn't smell so sharply of gasoline and coal. Eventually, you come to a stop.
Pay the driver.
The fare is in glowing numbers above his dashboard. It's much too high. Surely a mistake. No charge, he insists. You look like you need a break. And then you find yourself on the curb at Boston Common, under thick moonlight, in a city much as you'd left it before.
Huh. The odd silent taxicab in Boston. Red brick, green trees, blue sky. In this weather, Boston is beautiful. That is, until you make your way deeper into the city and get lost among the cramped, winding, shadow-haunted old streets. Let's earn some money. You wander the streets of the city looking for a way to make some cash. I'm gonna look for work again. A tiny woman in a lush fur coat is standing outside a boutique lamp store with package nearly as tall as she is. You there, she calls. Can you lift this? Give it a try. It's huge and unwieldy, but light as anything. Carry it down to my house and we'll work something out, the woman declares. You heft the package and follow her. She begins a rambling story about her living room, her interior decorator, her husband's taste in rugs. God, this is boring or fascinating, ma'am. I'll stick with that. Fascinating, ma'am. You follow by the sound of her voice. The lamp box is so large you can't see a thing. Eventually she exclaims, "Here we are. Thank God." You lay the box down in her living room. It's nowhere near as luxurious as she made it sound. A card table, a ratty couch, and a wall tapestry done in a grotesque imitation medieval style. This will really tie the room together, she exclaims. At least she tips you. Move on. What's in the store? Hot apple cider, clam chowder, say it right, sandwich, blue plate special. Alright, so I guess these things each fill different things, right? So this fills up your sleepiness, I guess, and this is your heart, and I don't need anything filled up right now. So what happens if I go to the train station? Ah! But it costs all my monies. Alright, go back. Leave. We're leaving Boston. Alright. Going back down south. Oh, hitchhike again? Try and hitchhike this time. So we're going back to New York, I guess. Oh, I can stop finally. Interesting. He wouldn't stop before, but now he's stopping. Or maybe it was a little bug or something. I really would like to hitchhike. Ow. They won't stop. Back. We're gonna go towards Pennsylvania. Well, down here first.
The stream is a clear, reflective shade of blue. Unusual in this region, where bog iron colors
It's a scary story.
the river's brown. Across the way, a goat with great leather wings.
It's the Jersey
laps
Devil.
up the water. Its sunken red eyes fixed
Yeah.
on your every movement.
It's the Jersey Devil.
You now notice
Take
the
stock.
unnatural absence of wildlife. No fish swim in the stream. No birds sing in the trees. The winged goat drinks with a forked tongue, only abstractly concerned with your presence.
I can approach the goat, or I can drink water, and it changes the story. I'm gonna approach the goat because this is the first scary story I've got.
Over the hill, a scorched one-room house lies abandoned, 2 of its 4 walls in ruins. The goat rears up, front hooves curled, and stretches its wings out to their full breadth.
Leave or draw closer? Draw closer. Still scary.
The goat opens its mouth and wails. A protracted, shrill sound, indistinguishable from the cry of a human infant. It only begins to stop when you take several steps back.
All right,
the winged
leave.
goat doesn't follow. Instead, it lies down inside the burnt house, surrounded by portraits of a large family, glass frames stained brown from smoke.
Move on. Nice. There's that. Oh, Philadelphia. There's that bird again. The crow. You notice a black crow sitting on a fence post, watching you with unsettling intensity. Hey, it blurts. Hey, friend. Hey, you hear about trains? He gives a throaty cackle. Locomotion, that's the life. I got some good travel tips here. Alright, ask about travel. You ever ride a train, it asks? With your budget, you'll need to hop on at a train yard, though. Fast and convenient, but the railroad bulls really don't like it when you ride in the empty boxcars. You get caught, you'll get beaten. It hops and pecks at something on the ground. On the positive side, maybe you'll meet someone to trade stories with. But if you don't like the sound of that, you could hitchhike. Find a friendly car, it laughs. I feel sorry for you landlubbers. No wings, just motors. You can't even cross rivers when you want to, only at safe crossings. You got a point there. I always do. You notice that its beak doesn't move as it speaks, but before you can tell anything else about it, off it flies. Move on. Alright, we're going to Philadelphia. There's a couple of things here, so we'll talk to this one first.
You come across a girl picking wild blueberries. She smiles and greets you.
On in.
She offers you some from her birch bark basket.
Thank you.
You reach in the basket for blueberries, but pull out a handful of small, smooth stones, all the colors of the rainbow. The snickering girl runs into the trees as fast and light as a rabbit.
Drop the stones or throw the stones? I don't want to throw them at her, so I'll just drop the stones.
The stones tumble from your hand and hit the ground, instantly turning black as the night. Your heart leaps in surprise. How strange.
Indeed.
The women are oblivious to your approach. Their eyes are shut. Their touch, where they hold hands, is gentle. They speak in low tones. One stifles a burst of laughter, but it brings a smile to their faces. Sorry, says the one who laughed.
Don't be.
Another assures her. They don't look up.
Step loudly or pass by quietly? Pass by quietly, because that's a new tarot card.
And we give thanks for those who have left us, who we wanted gone, for the skills to thrive without them, and for the companions who make the effort joyful.
The voice of the youngest wavers. The woman to her left squeezes her hand. This is not a scene to intrude upon.
Okay, move on. I think here is a story that I've told coming back to me. Yeah. This man reads the newspaper with barely contained horror. His grimace spreading wider and wider as he makes his way down the page. Suddenly, his frown cracks into something with a little more amazement in it. Whoa, he says. What's the matter? He reads out a story about the boy whose shiftless father left him alone in the woods. You're shocked. It's the story of the boy who ran away with his father, but with some bits changed. Do you think this really happened? He asks. I wonder what happens if it's all made up. Oh, yes. He shrugs. Sounds like nonsense to me for sure, he says. The stuff they print these days. Move on. hop a train. Okay, I don't want to do that. I think this is the boy again. Hey, Quinn.
Stranger, it's good to see you again. You know, I'm gonna see this whole world one day, but for now, I just got my sights set on seeing all 48 of the great U.S.
Is there only 48 states at this time? Yeah, I guess Alaska and Hawaii were later.
I already seen 10 whole states. That's better than my folks ever done, that's for sure. Plenty of townies and even some tramps treat me like I'm kid simple, but I ain't helpless, and I only act it when I ain't got no better choice, like if I get pinched. I do right fine on my own. Don't need nobody but Cass and Flip. Hey, tell me a funny story. You seem like you still got a sense of humor.
Oh shit, a funny story, huh? Oops. Oh, I can't. Funny story. I can't tell him the stories that I've already told him. Yeah. Bondage, Devil. None of these are funny. Oh shit. I'll tell him the... None of these are particularly funny. I guess this one? Maybe I should tell him something. Is that funny? The strange stones around Philadelphia. I don't know which ones are funny. If any of these would be funny. I honestly don't know. They want a funny story. Alright, I guess I'll tell him this one. I don't know if it's funny. It's the funniest one I got.
Not sure I quite follow that one.
Yeah.
This country. I don't rightly know what this thing called America is. I know what I done been told in school, but the words don't fit the picture. What with tramping across the whole thing, figure I'll find out for myself soon enough. Hey, do you got any really thrilling stories to tell? I'm hankering for one of those.
Something thrilling. How about the cab one? Is that thrilling? No, it's just odd, huh? Shit, man. Ah, this one. The Bridge Builders.
Well, that was a lively tale.
There we go.
Freedom? Well, that's what them trains have come to mean to me. Freedom. Crossing a country wider than imagination. You got any stories that are a little sad?
A little sad. This one? This one also maybe a little bit sad. Yeah, I'll do this one. I think this one's a bit sad.
I don't get too much out of tales that are so cheerful. Not enough excitement for me.
That was cheerful? Oh, shit.
Faith. Well, I ain't the religious type, though I was raised in the Christian way. I reckon I don't see no point to trusting a God what could squash you in an instant. Such a situation don't exactly breed trusting. I want to hear a story about ghosts or murderers or something.
All right,
Scary stuff.
I got that one. This one says sadness. This literally says sadness.
You spin a good yarn. I was shivering there for a little bit. Sadness. Ain't seen no sight sadder than in the city. In the city, they want you to feel like a giant among giants, like you can do anything. But I seen them shanty camps full up with folks who got nothing to eat or do. Cities serve to make the small feel smaller. You got any happy stories?
Yes. I guess we'll do this one.
Were you trying to scare me? Well, you didn't go far enough. Huh.
I wasn't
Love
trying to scare
story.
you.
Well, some of the songs say love is like being sick in your heart. Don't sound too pleasant to me. I love my dogs, but it don't feel like being sick. Being sick in your heart sounds more like getting Judased, something I know a thing or two about. Well,
Yeah, I said that
sun's
before.
coming up, so I've got to get ready to go. Thanks for the tales, friend. Where you heading next? Decided yet? Maybe our paths will cross. I'm going up the road this way myself.
Alright, so he's going up to New York again, near the Canadian border on the west side there.
Hope I'll see something fun.
Alright.
I generally do, you know. There's interesting things to see everywhere if you keep your eyes open.
Oh, there's another story here that's already changed. This farmer's loitering beside a couple of crates of berries, idly watching the clouds go by. Waiting for the pickup, he says, trying to make small talk. Hey, you want to hear his wild story? Absolutely. He starts telling you about the dead woman in the yellow ribbon. It takes a couple minutes, but suddenly you recognize it as a story about the elegant woman in the small town. Whoever told it to the farmer changed, well, a lot, but it's still pretty good. Where'd you hear that story? Well, I can't remember, he says. I think I've known it for years, since I was a boy, for sure. That can't be right. Leave him with his tale, or that story happened to me. I've never, I'll just leave it with, that story happened to me? That story happened to me. Bullshit, his laughter rings down the dusty road. You're a good joker, I'll give you that. Move on. Alright. So I guess it grows in the telling no matter what. So I can keep going south. Well, there's somebody else over there, so actually I should go over there. Let's go see if there's... that's a forest. And that's another campfire, so I should probably go there. Just checking to see if there's anything... Can I walk on the water? Yes! I can swim. Camp. Who's here? Mason.
My twin brother Paul and I
Oh.
always got into trouble, but we were good. We didn't do nothing to anybody till we left. Then we hurt a lot of people. Me, more so than Paul, because he didn't make it through.
Oh, he's a World War I veteran, I
The
assume.
march I was on, the bonus army. It's less a bonus and more an acknowledgement of what I've had to suffer. Civilians will never understand. Know any good jokes? I'm not so good at telling them anymore.
Okay, joke. Happy. This one's kind of funny. Oh, sorry. Yeah, alright.
Wish I could tell that one to my sister.
Well, hey, that one was funny.
The past doesn't even feel like it happened. It feels like it's happening in every moment, in every slumber.
You might have PTSD, sir.
When your memories come back to you, do they clutch at you? At your heart?
Definitely have PTSD.
So anyway, tell me a funny story? You seem like you know a few good ones.
Alright. He said this one was funny before. Alright, let's tell him this one. The boy said it was funny.
Life ain't like that, in my experience. But I guess my experience ain't normal.
You didn't find it happy.
My faith? Well, God and I haven't been on speaking terms since I got the infection. I gave the fucker so many chances to make things right, and he hasn't followed through.
Yep.
So anyway, tell me a funny story? You seem like you know a few good ones.
Man, I don't know if I know. Okay. That's not funny at all. Oh, stop. I can tell him this, and this will definitely... It's just this story won't grow. Like they said, right? So only the other stories grow. So I can tell him this just to make the eye open. But I can't... I don't know... You know what? Yeah, because I don't know... Because that'll definitely make his eye open. Yeah, focusing on the funny parts.
Yeah, Paul would have liked that one. Travel. Well, this walk feels like a little bit of freedom now and again. The flowers along the road make for fine company. Do you know any happy stories? Hopeful
Hi.
ones?
Felicia's here. Hopeful ones. Hopeful stories. Oh, let's tell him the one about the two lighthouse keepers.
I liked that one. There's some hope left for you too, you know. Don't give it away too quick. Love? It was a real long time ago. Pulled a ribbon on her hair, her pigtails came undone, and she tattletaled on me. Never really tried after that.
That's all you
You know
did?
any good jokes? I'm not so good at telling them anymore.
So he just wants jokes and funny stories. Happy stories, I mean. I don't know if I have any jokes for you, buddy. That one, maybe. Might just be mysterious, that story. Hi. I guess I'll just tell him the story about the little girl with the stones.
That can't be true. That sounds like a Navy tale.
Should get that out of a magazine.
Home. Well, my sister, Jessie, won't forgive me for what happened to Paul, so she
Whoa.
won't bring me back home.
Not your fault, buddy.
I made my own way for a while after that, till no one could afford gardeners. Who could stand to care for the land nowadays? Here's the sun. I've got to go. I'm headed up the road this way. Will our paths
Going up to
cross?
Rhode Island. So I really do need to
Days
crisscross
come and
around the
go when
U.S.
the terrors return. They'll never be able to pay back what they owe me, but I'll always keep at 'em. What about you? Is there something somebody owes you?
Okay. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna scrawl my name on the bare bones of the earth.
What's this? Is this DC?
Dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause
Yeah, it is
with
DC.
that very
Yeah, we're going to DC.
come for the tally.
It's hard to look at these shining buildings in the direct sunlight. You feel like an ant crawling among the tombs of giants. Away from the monuments, though, you find a city that's a little more human. Alright, let's
The
explore.
mailman's uniform is dated and worn. He sits on the edge of the road, head in hands. He looks up as you approach. Can you help? Car clipped me. I think my legs... Well, I'd appreciate it if you could deliver this for me. He holds out a brown envelope.
Deliver the letter.
The letter's addressed to a James Gibson Sr., 120 J Street. But the city stymies you. The blocks run straight from I to K. You stop a man for directions, but he shakes his head and laughs. Someone's playing a joke on you. There's no J Street.
So I can head back or keep looking. I'll keep looking.
Over here. A woman in a brown coat overheard your question. She steers you down an alley. Someone's chalked a big orange J on one wall. I thought Clovis was late. Go left up ahead. Old Man Gibson's the third on the right.
Go on alone.
As you round the corner, the world changes. J Street is a place out of time. Like the city forgot an entire street a century ago and carried on around it, oblivious. Even the noise and bustle of D.C. can't penetrate this little pocket.
Knock on Gibson's door.
The man who answers is ancient and stooped. He peers at the letter. I think it's from my son. I don't see so well anymore. Will you read it to me? You tear the letter open. It isn't good news.
Lie or tell him the truth. Ooh, if I tell him the truth, it becomes like a horror story. If I lie, it's probably just a sad story. No, this is sad story. Sorry, I don't know what the hell this is. I guess I'll lie.
You read the letter, omitting a few key details, but his face still falls. I don't think he's coming home, he says. It's been so long. I don't think he's ever coming back. He takes the letter. Thank you for bringing word, at least.
Damn. Strange Street lost in time in DC. What's in the store? Orange juice, fried chicken, iced coffee, PB&J. Don't need any of it. What's at the train station? Okay, Chicago, Cincinnati, Atlanta. Alright. We're gonna keep walking. I don't need to earn money. My money's still... Does he give me stories, though? No, right? Yeah, because I can't tell, like, the snake story and stuff. Although it is still interesting. So, you know what? Fuck it. Let's earn some money. Going to the streets, looking for a way to make some cash. Look for work. You had 4 factories, but nobody's hiring today. Soon you notice you're cruising around the city with the same loose group of rejected laborers. Coughing men in baggy clothes, women with babies tied to their backs, an older fellow with only one hand. Nobody wants us. After the 5th factory, everyone makes a silent agreement to give up. You sit on the curb, across from the factory doors, and eat your sad little lunches together in silence. Screw this city, huh? Move on. Alright. It's still a story. So that's a train that I can hop on. Let's try it. Let's try it. Oh, wait. No, hold on. Oh, there's a river crossing, isn't it? Cross the river here. Yeah. All right. Let's do the train. Hop a train. I haven't done that yet. Charlotte. Yeah, why not? It says sometimes you can find stories in here. The crow said. You hop off the boxcar and successfully sneak your way out of the train yard without catching any unwanted attention. Huzzah! Move on. So now I'm in Charlotte. And here's a bunch of stuff. In here, another story that's come back to me. This kindly old man sharing the shade under the bridge with you tells a few rambling stories, some true-seeming, some conspicuously less so. All true, he assures you. There's history in this place, going all the way back to Indian times. Strange stuff happens around here. Can't all be true. Sure it is, he scoffs, and then, as if to prove himself right, he launches into a story about the shootout between the female bootleggers and the cops. And this one, you know, it's a story of the woman arrested for bootlegging, but wilder and stranger than you remember. I know that one. See then, the old man laughs? So I ain't pulling your leg. It's all true. Move on. So now it's become a shootout. Alright. Oh, North Carolina. Oh, we went south. That's right. We did go south, didn't we?
A family of 9 invites you into their home for a meal. Hogs roam free in the yard. They wallow in shady patches of cool mud, not paying any mind as you pass.
Eat with the family.
During supper, the hard wind puts an awful burden on the walls. The glass dishes rumble on the table, but the mother seems calm.
Can't butcher a hog in these parts without me, Ma, hollering for pig's feet.
Ghosts? Or could we share? Ghosts?
The mother raises up her shoulders into a stern posture.
I teach my children to only fear the Lord. We don't have Hanks, just me, Ma.
Move on. Family of pig farmers.
First tree in a mile.
That's a new song. I
And
just
it's a
realized.
stout myrtle with bald branches. No relief from the sun out here. Leaves would help. Someone hadn't replaced them all with dusty glass bottles.
Rest. This is a new card
You
as well.
cool down in the shade. The breeze blows through the bottles, making a series of heavy, hollow sounds. You think about wind chimes and the smell of fresh pies on windowsills. The dense sound of many conversations cuts your nap short. There's no one around. Not until you look up at the bottles. They're filled with bright blue orbs, and words echo from them. None seem to notice your presence.
Listen to the laughter or listen to the weeping? I'm gonna go with the laughter because this one's new. I don't have this tarot
Can't
card
get
yet.
enough.
Maybe this is funny.
Porcelain, chrome, the rusty ones. Gotta turn those sleek faucets. Ever find me in a hardware store, I'm gonna haunt it till the cows come home.
Laughter rumbles inside neighboring bottles.
So, it's kind of a funny story. The trees with a bottle in its branches. Oh, what's this? What's this X? Search. Got 2 good hands, an old man calls. A downed tree has flattened his front yard and his porch. His porch too. His 2 sweaty sons are chopping it into movable pieces. You throw the logs into the old man's cart. At least I can sell it for firewood, he sighs, tossing you some coins. So I got a little bit of money for that, I guess. But yeah, the music's new. Wait. Oh, sorry. Oh no, I turned off the music exit. Oh no, I can. Oh. I can change the music. I just want to know which direction I'm going.
Electric lamps stipple the cotton field before you with an orange light, moving like a group of lethargic fireflies. From the field, the voices of the workers reach you in a soulful, united song.
Rest nearby.
You're gently lulled to sleep as the song floats over you. And oh, Lordy, pick a bale of cotton. And oh, Lordy, pick a bale a day. You're pulled out of your slumber by a woman's pained scream and a collection of shouts rising from the field.
Focus on the noise or force yourself back to sleep. It's the same. I'll focus on
The
the
woman's
noise.
screams taper off, soon replaced by the raw cries of an infant. Applause briefly fills the night, eventually fading back into song. Oh, Lordy,
Wake up.
you wake up to the gentle crescendo of the worker's song. unsure if it ever ceased at all.
Move on. Alright. So that's South Carolina. Let's go up to North Carolina. It's actually the wrong way. I want to go south, but I see stories over here, so let's go see those stories.
The cave is really a man-made hole breaching into an earthen mound. The man, khakis dirtied by kneeling on the rough earth, has assembled a macabre little pile of skulls to the side.
What are you doing?
Readying these for sale, friend.
He wipes his hands on his pants.
This pile of skulls, clearly claimed from his enemies by an Indian chieftain, would be perfect for any cabinet of curiosities or sideshow attraction.
But why dig up a grave?
Why, these skulls belong to no one. They're just here, lying under this mound, waiting for an enterprising soul to make something of them. Isn't this what America's all about?
Look deeper into the mountain.
Little sunlight reaches that deep in, but you can still see the skeletal remains, their heads carelessly removed, laying neatly in their excavated resting places, each one lovingly surrounded by stone effigies, earthenware, and copper plates in the shape
This guy's a
of winged
grave robber.
warriors.
So I can threaten him or leave him be. I'm gonna threaten him. Well, it's become sadness. I'm gonna threaten him though.
You pause and consider this small man, greedily arranging someone's remains as though they were a trinket for a mantelpiece.
I can make up a ghost story. I can tell him to fuck off. Both of them are the same. I'm gonna tell him. Make up a ghost story? Alright, we should just make up a ghost story.
It's crude and ridiculous, but he's a crude and ridiculous man. You have him run off the mound,
Oh, it
sworn
works though.
never to tell of what he's seen, for fear of monsters and ghosts. It's a small thing, but a kindness you hope.
Alright. See what's here. These folks are setting up a cooking tent in the corner of a fairground. Beyond them, bigger tents rise like clouds. You want to make some cash? The manager asks. A long, hot day serving funnel cakes and busting tables in the dining tents, but you're paid well. Move on. All right. So he started walking on his own again. I don't know how to make him stop. Oh. All right. So I kind of want to go to Kentucky just to see what kind of stories I see there. But I don't actually know. I have 21 of 237 stories gathered. Wow. That's cool. I think, can I, yeah. Oh, there's Kentucky. So I gotta go up. And to the left. Alright. I guess I should go through Tennessee first. Alright. So anyway, we go west. Charlotte. Is that where I started? May have been where I started, actually. I don't remember. I wish my dang... About a half hour. Huge storm, this farmer gasped, pointing to the clouded horizon. We gotta get the produce indoors before the fields wash out. Can you help? You and his family strip the fields of vegetables. When the rain hits, you're all safe inside, and you've got some coins in your pocket. So I'm making a lot of money that I haven't actually spent very much of. And where's over here now? Ah, Tennessee. Good. Oh, can I not climb? Yeah, I can't climb. Can I not climb mountains? I can. Sometimes. Yeah, Tennessee. There's Virginia. There's Kentucky. Any cities in Virginia? What's this? West Virginia, I see, okay.
Well, I'm gonna scroll.
Oh. Yeah, so the music changes depending on where you are. Let's say the South and the Midwest. We're in Kentucky. Nothing in Kentucky? Well, that makes me sad. Alright, there's something up there, so let's go up there. Try to walk a bit faster.
Well, I'm gonna scroll my name on the bare bones of the earth.
That's Charleston.
I'm gonna dig in my heels
But there's stuff up here, though.
By nightfall, the hospitality of this sleepy hamlet, combined with their superstitious tales, has both overstuffed your stomach and filled you with a hollow dread. Folks say these woods are full of apparitions, witches, and worse. You curse yourself for getting on the road so late. In the moonlight, every valley and hollow at the feet of the Tappan Zee seems like a stolen shred of the abyss itself. Fireside tales seem less fanciful, and every cackling crow and moaning whippoorwill seems like a demon perched on the shivering, spindly trees.
Tappan Zee goes up to New York as well.
But something cuts through the noise. The muffled sound of hooves galloping on the cold, muddy road. When he finally slows his horse alongside you, it's as though he had just appeared out of the mist.
Look at him.
He's astride a gigantic black courser, and though his boots are muddy and ragged, he wears an immaculate coat with great, shining buttons. From his saddle hangs an antiquated flintlock and a cavalry saber. In the darkness, you can hardly see above his towering shoulders.
Greet the rider.
His voice is a rumbling croak, deep, but as though his throat is filled with thorns. Have you happened upon a cannonball around here? You can tell English isn't his first language. German is.
Oh.
His hand, so pale it's almost blue in the
What are they
moonlight,
called?
grips the reins in a fist.
He's one of those German soldiers in the Revolutionary War, was it? Civil War, maybe? I forget what they're called. Who's... Sorry I haven't, or run the hell away. Sorry I haven't.
You mumble an apology and watch as he silently rides away, back into the
Change the
mist.
story.
He's cloaked in black, you notice from behind, but the blood running down over his shoulders glints crimson in the moonlight.
It's a ghost story. Move on. There's one here as well.
The man is the color of mill dust. His smile creases his face like folds in dough. He gestures you inside the dilapidated structure, and shouts over the sound of driving wheels. You're welcome to sleep here. You don't want to rest by the river. Not in the evening. Insects.
Settle inside for a break.
Man shoves the broken door closed behind you. The mill is warm, and the air is heavy with the powder kicked up by your entrance. You realize how easy it would be to drift off on this pile of sacks to the loud but constant sound of the grinding wheels.
I can sleep or I can fight the drowsiness. It changes the kind of story. I'll
Pain sears your spine. Why did you sleep at this ridiculous angle? Your back complains from being draped over the millstone. It's good the mill is totally abandoned. Its works long ago disconnected, or your legs would have been pulverized. The man is gone. Oh. This is not a place to linger.
It's not a place to linger. Alright, and then I've got a story here that changed. These fellows are lounging in the front of a half-finished office building, taking their lunch break. Hey, one calls, waving you down. Rick was telling us the story. Listen, okay? And you tell us if it's bullshit or not. Sure. Rick, a credulous-seeming fellow, starts telling you a story about the Thunderbird people, who fly when they fall from heights. You realize it's a story of the bridge builders, but changed in a few major ways, so it's definitely part bullshit, right? But it's also a little real? It's bullshit, it's not bullshit. It's not bullshit. Half the group groans. How the hell is that supposed to be a real story? Exclaims the man who waved you down. You're all the most gullible pieces of shit I ever met. The other half of the group, indicated, shares a bottle of pop with you. Move on. Alright. Let's see if we can't hitch a train again. Chattanooga, sure. I haven't met nobody here, but I guess we won't know until we get up. You hop off the box car and successfully sneak your way out of the train yard without catching anyone's attention. There you go. So that's twice now. Whoa, that's three stories here at Chattanooga.
No fence, gate, or sign marks the entrance to the cemetery. Just a moment ago, you weren't surrounded by graves, and now you are. How long have you been stepping on dead folks, fully unaware?
Observe a grave.
A wood board, bleached white. Unknown. The word was painted on black by a steady hand, each letter signed with a flourish. Whoever made this memorial had more compassion than money.
Hold the moment of silence or look around. That's new, so I'm going to look around.
The other graves are the same. Unknown. 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 Handwritten. Nondescript. You walk for a while, reading every marker in sight, and not once do you find a name.
That's sad.
And my trains run out of track. Won't be no one else.
Faded shotgun houses sit in rows under the tall shadows of smokestacks. A worker in full uniform hollers from a porch. Hi, traveler. Throw me inside. Got some literature here. As you shut the door, the man glances out the window and draws the shades. Landlord toss you out? Ha, don't mind me, it's none of my business. He pries up a floorboard with a crowbar. You glance over the man's shoulder to see inside the compartment. Canned goods, a pile of leaflets, the wood stock of a rifle. He replaces the board and stands.
Look away.
He hands you a can of whole potatoes, then a leaflet which reads, No evictions, no fascists, no hunger. Headed back to the shop, but we'll have a Bible meet soon.
Bible meet or I travel around? I guess we'll do Bible meet.
Bible meet. If you don't know James 5:1 by heart, learn it. That's our favorite scripture.
I don't know what James 5:1 is. Move on.
My vagrant song.
You rest in a field where a well-dressed stranger talks your ear off on all manner of subjects. The weather, fireflies in summer, how combine harvesters work. After a while, the mood shifts. Heard my death bones this morning. Death bones. Heard 'em rattle like clank, clink, clank. More startling than wind chimes in a tornado. He plucks dry grass and chews on a piece. Ain't much time left now.
You seem young, or any family? I'll go with you seem young.
That don't matter. I'm fine. Got my savior waiting at the pearly gates. The man shifts uncomfortably. At least I do as of this afternoon, I hope. Nearly knocked the pastor's door down earlier.
Nod.
Sure was good to meet you. The man pauses, rubs his chin in contemplation. Don't let the bedbugs bite. He walks off slow. After his silhouette becomes small in the horizon, but before he vanishes, you see him collapse to the ground.
Dang. Move on. The man who seemed alright with death. Where's Atlanta? Oh wait, there's a story here. Wait, what's that? I'm like a dog with shiny things. Ooh, what's that? What's that? A car crammed with well-dressed vacationers pulls up at the gas pump. Fill me up, will you? The driver drawls, a thickly transatlantic affect. You oblige. She tips pretty well, then roars off down the road. Finally, the bags bouncing and rattling on the roof. Move on. Alright, there's a couple stories here. Now I'm going to Atlanta. And that might be where I end it.
You emerge from the underbrush and find yourself at the edge of a field. A farmhouse sits at the other end. Close by, large family is tending to the plants together. They pause and regard you, almost nervously.
Hello there?
The grandmother asks.
Hello.
The family is almost too nice to you. When you ask for water, they don't even let you walk to the pump by the house. The child runs back to the shed for a folding chair, and they serve you lemonade in a glass among the lettuce heads.
Very kind of you.
Halfway through your glass, you notice someone moving furtively down by the house. The cuffs of his white shirt are stained red. The father sees your look and shifts to block your view. His eyes are bright, and his teeth are bared in something like worry. How do you like your
Danger.
lemonade?
It's great.
His wife arrives with a bag full of sandwiches for you, and the whole family ushers you back into the woods, waving, wishing you well. You take one look back over your shoulder. The man by the wall is gone.
Huh. Move on. Weird. What's that above me? I don't understand what that is. Yeah, see this story, then we're going to Atlanta. Oh, wait, I don't. Gosh darn it, I really wish I could stop him when I wanted to.
We need a sixth.
She told you, beckoning from
Seance.
the steps of a great dark mansion. And just like that, you found yourself sitting with strangers around a velvet-draped table. Her voice is reedy and high, modulated by the tight collar of her Victorian dress.
Join hands, everyone.
Hold
Your
hands.
host keeps her eyes closed as she beseeches the spirits of the dead. But everyone else around the table lets one lingering, awkward glance bounce around between them. You sense they're just about done humoring her when it happens. A deep, nasty thump beneath the table.
Hold
The
tight.
whole table starts to shake, threatening to lift right off the ground. And then, the staid candle flames start flickering like mad, casting ghastly shadows on the walls. And then, a viciously cold wind cuts through the parlor like sharpened ice.
Let go or keep holding. It's the same. I'll
The
keep holding.
damned candles are dancing in midair around you now, singeing a hair here and there off the coiffed heads of these well-heeled guests. You notice your host across the table has her eyes open wider than they should go. A rivulet of blood dripping from her nose.
Let go or keep holding. We're gonna keep holding. That's the Wheel of Fortune, that is.
When you come to your senses, sunrise has begun to creep in. The parlor is empty, but for you and the woman in the old-fashioned dress, who slumped dejectedly over the table.
He didn't show up. All that sound and fury, and no sign of his spirit.
Move on. Alright, we're going into Atlanta. This will probably be our last stop for tonight. This is really good. I really like this game. I like all these stories. I need sleep. Alright, let me explore first, then we'll go to the store. Atlanta's suffering, you can tell. Even before this depression got started, crops were failing and farms were closing. Now everyone's looking desperate.
You find yourself in a poker game on the third floor of the Winecoff Hotel. Sometimes these things just happen. The man with the burned face to your left, he never gave his name, growls at the smiling man seated on your right. You ain't got the stomach. I killed men for lessons in that pot. Smiler plays on and takes the hand. The burned man bares his teeth.
Deal.
This hand comes down to the burned man and Smiler. Walk away, boy, says the burned man. Smiler drops his grin. Ain't your boy, Roy. Roy's eye twitches. Smiler outplays Roy again, and a new hand comes around.
Look at your cards.
You've got an okay hand. Not a world beater, but not nothing.
Play cautiously or press your luck. I'm gonna press my luck.
You play your hand well and push Smiler into folding. You scrape a good number of chips into your pile. Roy's preoccupied and has to be nudged into dealing.
Play
You
on.
finally hit a decent hand.
Don't overplay it or make it count. Don't overplay
Roy
it.
is still staring at Smiler. What'd you say your name was?
I didn't, but it's Jackson.
Jackson, repeats Roy. I knew a Jackson once. There's a fierce look in Roy's eye.
Let's see him.
You play your hand well, but Smiler has you beat. He takes the lion's share of the chips on the table. Roy cashes out and slips away. You play a few more rounds, but that hand practically sewed up the game.
Leave.
As you leave the hotel, you smell smoke. You cross the street and look up. Flames have engulfed the third floor, where you played the game. The fire spreads hungrily. People are leaning out of windows on the floors above, but you can't see any way to help.
Damn. Move on. Wow. Let's see who's a store here. I can't get fried chicken. I get pecan pie. I get root beer and get apple juice. I need to refill my sleep meter there, so let me get some apple juice. Now, oh, dang it. That's not what I wanted to do. I need to make money. Well, I can't. Oh, that's not what I want to do at all. Well, Burns. Let's hop a train then. Yeah, let's go to New Orleans. Let's see what happens this time. Still haven't met anyone on the train. Like, no one to tell stories. The crow did say, "Oh, as you hop off the boxcar, you suddenly feel the heavy hand of a railroad bull on your shoulder. Now, where'd you come from?" he asks in a way that indicates he doesn't care. "You don't mess with the Rock Island's cars. The beating that ensues is efficient and brutal." Move on. Ouch. Alright, let's go into New Orleans. Oof. Alright, let's earn some money. Panhandle or look for work? Let's look for work. Doors close in your face one by one, like giant dominoes. Boom, boom, boom. Bad luck today, or is it something else? Attempt pleasantries or change your outfit? Damn. Change outfit? You don't have much to change your outfit with, but you rearrange your various layers and tip your hat at a spunky angle, and the next place, boom, yikes. That one was even more emphatic than the others. Move on. Oh no. Alright. I can't buy anything because I don't have any money. PB&J, jambalaya, gumbo, ice cream float. Shit, that sounds good. Alright, let me explore, get a story here, and then we'll
Lenny's Antiques has a heady smell. Polish, maybe, or incense. Sunlight doesn't penetrate the blacked out windows. The place is crammed with furniture and curios. The woman behind the counter beckons you over.
I know the look of you. I know what you're here for.
And what's that?
She sets a tray on the counter. On it sits a hodgepodge of stitched leather pouches of various shapes and sizes. Some have neck or wrist straps looped through them. She waves a hand across the display.
Good luck charms.
How much or no thanks? Let me say how much.
I don't want your money. You got something better.
She licks her lips, holds out a flat palm.
Out for your hand.
Her knife is fast.
Ooh.
She slices a thin line across your palm, then snatches your hand and squeezes. She catches the welling blood in a murky glass vial. Your vision flickers, and as you blink, the place lightens. Sunlight streams through the windows. You are alone.
Man, there's a lot of ghosts. Leave.
As you reach the door, a man calls after you.
Is this yours?
His name badge reads Lenny. He's holding up a leather pouch by its strap. You take it and hurry out of the shop.
Come on. Alright. What's at the train station? I can't go anywhere because I can go all the way to San Antonio or Miami. Alright, well, how do I save, huh? Is that how I save? Is that saved already? How do I save? Surely you're not going to make me play this whole game. There's mobile. Mobile, Alabama. Oh, can't go that way. Yeah, I know I need health.
Well, I'm gonna scroll my name on the bare bones of the earth.
I don't know how to save. How do I save? Save on, I gotta check this out because now I don't know. How do I save? It doesn't tell me. It's supposed to autosave. Well, I hope so. I hope it's supposed to autosave. So I hope it's actually going to autosave, because I'm a little bit worried. But, well, I mean, that's where we're going to end it, I guess. And I'll check some stuff later. But yeah, thank you so much for watching today. I will see you tomorrow for A Damn Place to His Backlog, which I'll be playing Rainbow Moon, I believe, on 8th of March. Yeah, Rainbow Moon. So that I believe Rainbow Moon is an RPG. Let me check, actually, because I don't actually know what Rainbow Moon is. I think it's a JRPG even. I think. Isometric open world with detailed high definition visuals. Is a role-playing game. Maybe not a JRPG, maybe just an RPG. Tactical role-playing games. Game borrows heavily from dungeon crawling genre while the player traverses the game world, but incorporates elements from tactical role-playing games when the enemies are engaged in battle. So there you go. That should be tomorrow's game. Tomorrow's video, I should say. So yeah, thanks so much for watching today's video. I appreciate it. And I mean, this looks like a pretty good game. I hope it's saved. I'm gonna keep playing this in my own time. I really enjoy these stories. I enjoy the man reading them to me. The voiceover, whoever's doing the voice is really good. We didn't get to meet Sting. Sting's somewhere around there. I think he plays one of the characters we're supposed to find. We only found 2 of the main characters, right? I think there's 16 total. We only found 2. So we got to go to, you know, different places and find more camps, like the 2 that we found, and, you know, find more of them, and listen to their stories and tell them stories and stuff. And I've amassed a fair amount of stories. Yeah, look at that. There's a lot of stories. I have 30 out of 237, so there's still 207 more to find. There's my journey log. And there's my progress. So yeah, so there's 16, 4x4, and I've only found 2 so far. The Hobo Kid and the World War... Yeah, he was a World War I veteran. There you go. What's inventory? Pair of bone dice. Oh, this is like stuff that I get. So yeah, they were saying right at the beginning of the game, they were saying like once you get to a certain number of stories with each character, they'll give you something, and then you can use that to go back to where you first met them for free. So I guess I could use my dice to go back to the no, I guess not. I can't. Never mind. Anyway. Yeah, so that's this game. I really like it a lot, and I'll continue. Hopefully it has saved, and I don't have to worry about, you know, not having a save for this. Thank you again so much for hanging out, and you will see me tomorrow for Rainbow Moon. Hopefully, you know, I've still got over here. I've done the premiere, so there's chatting over there. Maybe I was there the whole time. Maybe not. I don't know. All these are premieres. I may or may not be around for them, depending on what I'm doing on a particular day at that particular time. All of these will be going up at 10 p.m. Singapore time, which is 9 a.m. Eastern time. I don't know. Italy is somewhere in between there. I'm not 100% sure where. Maybe like 2 p.m., 3 p.m., something like that. I'm not sure. I might be out and about. I might be in the hotel room working. Who knows? But thank you so much. And again, you will see me tomorrow. And hopefully I will have time to catch some of you guys on your streams or your videos. Bye-bye!